A life story. Volodya and Maria. Volodya had just finished a long, tiring day at a construction site in Brooklyn. Dust covered his clothes, and his hands were rough from carrying bricks and beams. Needing a moment of warmth, he stepped into a small, cozy cafe. The smell of fresh bread and coffee filled the air. Behind the counter stood Maria. She noticed his thick accent as he ordered in halting English and tilted her head. Then, softly and with a gentle smile, she asked in Ukrainian, "Are you from Ukraine?" Volodya froze for a moment, surprised and relieved. No one had spoken Ukrainian to him since he had arrived in America. A small smile appeared on his face. "Yes, from Poltava," he replied quietly. That simple question became the start of everything. They began talking right there in the cafe. At first, it was small talk, where he was from, how long he had been in America, what kind of work he did. Then their conversation deepened. Maria shared stories about coming to America with her family, adjusting to a new life, and the things she missed from home. Volodya spoke about his childhood, the streets of his hometown, and his dreams for a better future. They laughed at the little coincidences in their stories and exchanged tips about Ukrainian shops and restaurants in the city. After that first meeting, Volodya began visiting the cafe regularly. Sometimes it was just for coffee, but mostly it was to see Maria. They started walking together in a nearby park, talking about everything: books, music, favorite foods, hopes, and fears. Each walk made them feel closer. They shared sandwiches Maria had packed, pointed out interesting street art, and even got lost a few times, laughing together at the confusion. Their first official date was at a small Ukrainian restaurant in Queens. Volodya was nervous, fidgeting with his hands, while Maria tried to stay calm, but couldn't hide her own excitement. Over bowls of steaming borscht and plates of vareniki, they shared stories, jokes, and shy smiles. After dinner, they walked through the quiet streets, holding hands for the first time, feeling that sense of connection neither had ever experienced before. Life together was not always easy. Volodya worked long, exhausting hours at construction sites, and Maria balanced her studies and part-time jobs. Yet, their love grew in small, meaningful moments. A cup of tea waiting on the table, a note saying, "I'm proud of you," a shared laugh after a difficult day. Eventually, they married in a small Ukrainian church. Their wedding was simple, but full of love. They moved into a small house nearby, painting walls together, planting flowers, and filling their home with warmth. As the seasons changed, Volodya and Maria found joy in the smallest things. On quiet mornings, they would sit together on the balcony with steaming mugs of tea, listening to the city wake up. Volodya often recounted stories from his childhood in Ukraine, describing the fields, rivers, and forests he played in, while Maria shared memories of her school days and family celebrations back home. Their conversations were filled with laughter, warmth, and the occasional quiet sigh of nostalgia. Weekends were filled with family outings. Sometimes they visited the waterfront, where Daniel, their first son, would race along the shore or skip stones into the river. Other times they explored small neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens, discovering hidden cafes, tiny bookstores, and quiet parks. Each adventure, no matter how small, became a cherished memory. Holidays were especially magical in their home. Maria would spend hours preparing traditional Ukrainian dishes: borscht, vareniki, holubtsi, and sweet pastries. Volodya took care of decorations, carefully hanging lights and ornaments, while occasionally teasing Maria about her perfectionism in the kitchen. Friends and neighbors were always welcome, and the house would echo with laughter, singing, and the sounds of children playing. Daniel loved helping, whether it was rolling dough, setting the table, or learning traditional songs. A few years after Daniel was born, Maria gave birth to their second son, Dmitro. The house, already filled with joy from Daniel, became even livelier. Dmitro was curious from the very beginning, always moving, observing, and asking questions with wide, bright eyes. Volodya and Maria were amazed at how different he was from his older brother. Daniel was calm and thoughtful, while Dmitro's energy and imagination seemed boundless. Volodya held Dmitro in his arms for the first time, marveling at how small and fragile he was, yet feeling a strong, protective love already forming in his heart. Maria, exhausted but glowing, smiled as she watched Volodya gently rock Dmitro back and forth. "He's full of life already," she whispered. As Dmitro grew, every day was an adventure. He loved exploring the apartment, opening drawers, crawling into corners, and discovering new things. Volodya often chased him around, laughing as Dmitro squealed with delight. Daniel, now a little older, took a gentle role, trying to teach him small lessons or showing him toys. Weekends became even more dynamic. The family would go to parks, playgrounds, or small nearby rivers. Daniel rode his bike carefully, and Dmitro ran ahead, climbing, jumping, and laughing. Volodya taught Dmitro new skills, kicking a ball, skipping stones, or hammering nails safely into wood, while Maria encouraged his creativity through storytelling, drawing, and music. Holidays became even more lively with Dmitro's energy. He helped Maria roll dough for vareniki, climbed up to place ornaments on the tree with Volodya, and filled the house with laughter and joy. As he grew older, his imagination flourished. He wrote small stories, built creative structures, and invented games that brought the whole family together. Even ordinary days held magic. Volodya and Maria nurtured Dmitro and Daniel, celebrating milestones, first steps, first words, first day at school, and guiding them with patience and love. Quiet evenings, walks, and shared meals reminded the family that happiness often lived in simple moments. As Dmitro entered school, his creativity and curiosity became even more apparent. He loved science experiments and art projects, often teaming up with Daniel for school competitions or creative assignments. Volodya guided them in building projects, while Maria helped with painting and decorations. Even when their projects didn't win awards, the boys learned teamwork, patience, and ingenuity. Weekend trips and vacations became treasured family traditions. They explored beaches, mountains, lakesides, and small towns. On one mountain lake trip, Dmitro tipped his kayak repeatedly, laughing each time, while Daniel paddled carefully beside him. Volodya and Maria guided and encouraged both boys, turning mishaps into shared laughter and lessons in resilience. Holidays continued to fill the home with warmth and tradition. Ukrainian songs, decorated trees, and homemade meals became cherished family rituals. Dmitro's energy and imagination made each celebration lively, while Daniel helped organize games and performances, creating joyful memories that would last a lifetime. Even ordinary weekdays were special. After school, the boys would discuss books, current events, or ideas for projects. Sometimes they played board games, cooked together, or worked on art and science projects. Volodya and Maria cherished these moments, seeing them as opportunities to nurture curiosity, responsibility, and creativity. As Daniel and Dmitro grew into teenagers, life at home became both lively and challenging. Daniel, thoughtful and responsible, often helped guide his younger brother, while Dmitro's boundless energy and creativity sometimes led to chaos. Yet Volodya and Maria found joy in watching them grow, learning to balance patience with guidance. Dmitro's imagination flourished during these years. He wrote short stories, designed small inventions, and explored interests ranging from art to science. Daniel, more methodical, helped him refine his ideas, creating a perfect partnership between creativity and logic. Together, they built tree houses, designed backyard obstacle courses, and even tried to make small robots using kits Volodya brought home from work. School life brought new adventures. Both boys participated in local competitions, sports, and cultural events. Dmitro often took part in art shows or creative writing contests, while Daniel focused on science fairs and debates. Volodya and Maria attended each event, cheering them on, capturing moments with photos, and celebrating every success, no matter how small. Family vacations became more elaborate. They visited the beaches of New Jersey, hiked the Appalachian trails, and explored historic towns along the East Coast. On one memorable trip to Cape Cod, Dmitro tried surfing for the first time, tipping into the waves repeatedly while laughing, while Daniel paddled carefully beside him. Volodya joined in teaching basic skills, and Maria captured every smile and splash on camera. These trips strengthened their bonds and created lifelong memories. Holidays continued to be a cornerstone of family life. Ukrainian traditions were celebrated with love and joy, now enriched by the contributions of the next generation. Daniel and his partner helped with decorations. Dmitro added creative touches to meals and activities, and Volodya and Maria guided the celebrations with warmth, laughter, and storytelling. Even daily life carried meaning. Quiet evenings brought discussions about careers, dreams, and future plans. Volodya and Maria shared memories of their own youth. the challenges of moving to a new country, and the lessons learned along the way. Daniel and Dimitro listened, reflecting on the foundation their parents had built, a home filled with love, curiosity, patience, and resilience. Through every stage of life, childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood, the family remained close.